I'm Ivana Dias. This is Xavier News.
From the Xavier University Television Studio, this is Xavier News. Your campus, your region, your world. This is Xavier News.
On Tuesday, President Trump made headlines when he told House Democrats the White House would not be cooperating with their impeachment inquiry. This declaration drew controversy from local Ohio representatives. Senator Sherrod Brown, a Democrat from Cleveland who found Trump's statement to be grossly undemocratic, said, quote, "Hardworking people in Ohio don't get to pick and choose which laws they get to follow, and neither does the president. No one is above the law." End quote. However, Ohio Republicans have raised issues with the impeachment inquiry. Warren Davidson, a congressman from Troy, called the inquiry illegitimate on the grounds that there has been no vote on the Congress floor authorizing it. He believes the president is justified in his lack of cooperation, saying he deserves due process like any citizen. These thoughts are echoed by Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, a senator from our neighboring state to the south. In a tweet, McConnell said that the House has failed to follow the basic procedure for impeachment. As of now, it remains unclear what will result from the House's impeachment attempt.
Ever since Donald Trump's phone call about the Ukraine emerged last month, the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has been the center of many conversations. In the space of a few weeks, he faced protests over a controversial peace deal in Ukraine's southeast, a lackluster visit from the International Monetary Fund, and the resignation of a reformist cabinet member. In an effort to combat this, Zelensky held a marathon press conference lasting more than 14 hours, with 300 journalists in attendance. Over the course of the day, Zelensky told shifts of journalists he had not been blackmailed by Trump on their July phone call and did not know that U.S. military aid had been delayed at that time. A White House summary of the call showed Trump asked Zelensky to investigate the business dealings of political rival Joe Biden's family, while Zelensky said he was ready to investigate Ukraine's role in the 2016 U.S. elections if served with an official request by the U.S. His main message to us is to stay out of his business.
This weekend, Cincinnati's downtown will be overtaken by Blink, a massive art, light, and culture event that will cover over 30 city blocks with over 100 installations. Blink first came to Cincinnati 2 years ago, and Mayor John Cramley remembers it fondly as being, quote, "overwhelming and awesome," end quote. This year, the event makes its return and promises to be even more overwhelming and awesome, with over 1 million guests expected and art installations on a massive scale. As of this broadcast, Blink is already going strong, having started yesterday, but you still have plenty of time to see the sights before it ends on Sunday. There are sights to see from Findlay Market to Covington, and you can either walk the streets unguided or join one of the tours offered by Blink every day from 7 to 11 p.m. It's almost impossible to see everything in one day, so before you go, you can browse the Blink website at blinkcincinnati.com to find out what interests you. You can also just go to the events that have been called must-sees, such as the glow-in-the-dark Fountain Square Experience or the rolling suspension bridge that musicians will play like an instrument. While Blink commissioned many murals that will remain permanent fixtures in the city, some of the most incredible pieces of art will only be around this weekend, so don't miss your chance to experience this incredibly unique experience.
At Hocking Hills State Park on September 2nd, a 44-year-old woman named Victoria Schaefer was killed when part of a tree fell on her. Later investigations found that the tree did not fall naturally, and 2 teenagers were taken into custody. They were charged with reckless homicide and are being held at the Juvenile Detention Center in Lancaster. Schaefer's death was the third in Hocking Hills since June. 55-year-old Dana Bussin and Alexander Colson, 22, also passed away this summer after falling off overlooks in the park. The Hocking Hills Rangers say that the parks, while beautiful, do have dangers.
This is the month to celebrate all things macabre, but did you know that this is also the month to celebrate protecting your valuable data? This month, Xavier's cybersecurity team wants your worst nightmare to be phishing scams, and they've got plenty of tricks and treats to help teach you how to avoid getting your data stolen. This will include events such as escape room simulations and cybersecurity trivia. The department is also looking to form a student cyber defense team to compete in competitions locally. This is all in addition to new outreach programs being launched this month, such as Stop, Think, Connect, a campaign, and even a set of cybersecurity superhero and supervillain trading cards, such as Media Master and Phishing Phil. While these strategies may seem strange, they've proven effective. Since last year, the number of students victimized by cybersecurity attacks has dropped from 185 to only 19 so far. And this was after the team began to implement their ideas, such as building cybersecurity into the GOA curriculum. So this month, make sure to thank a local member of the cybersecurity team who help keep our school safe. Without them, a massive hack could end up being the nightmare before Christmas.
A recent study has determined that Xavier's Campus Pride Index is 3.5. This is based on different aspects of LGBTQ life on campus. Xavier is one of 5 Jesuit universities to participate in the study, which consisted of 260 questions that were divided into 8 categories each. Each category is rated on a scale of 1 to 5. Board members of Xavier's LGBTQ Alliance are working to bring the score up.
All right, that's all from the news desk, people.
We'll be right back with Lucas Robbins and the Xavier Sports Report.
Good afternoon, Musketeers fans, and welcome back to another edition of Xavier Sports. I'm Lucas Robbins, and let's get right into it with women's soccer. Yesterday, the Musketeers lost a 1-2 match versus the number 10 Georgetown Hoyas. A late goal by Big East scoring leader Samantha Dewey kept the game close towards the final minutes, but unfortunately, it was too little, too late. This was definitely a weird game, as Xavier held both the shot advantage and the shots on goal advantage, yet still lost in scoring. Now, to be fair, the Hoyas D had a reputation of being hard to get shots on and off, but this marked the first time that anyone scored on the Hoyas D during Big East play. The Xavier women's soccer team will look to bounce back this Sunday at 1 p.m. versus the Providence Friars here at Xavier. The men's basketball season is just around the corner, and the preseason coaches poll is out. Xavier is projected to finish third in the Big East Conference with 52 first-place votes behind only Seton Hall and annual powerhouse Villanova. On top of that favorable ranking, Xavier turns 4 of their starters, including preseason All-Big East first team Najee Marshall at the 3, and honorable mention Paul Scruggs at the 1. Both are aided by a consensus top 20 recruiting class of freshmen, and a pair of grad transfers in Jason Carter from Ohio and Bryce Moore from Western Michigan. The season opener will begin the night before Halloween versus the University of Indianapolis. And finally, it's time for the Weekly Robbins Watch. This week, Xavier swept the Big East Swimmer of the Week awards with the senior Emily Connors and on the women's side and freshman John Bernard on the men's. So far, Emily has posted the fastest time of anyone in the conference in 2 separate sprint events, and John has held the top times in conference for every single event he has swam so far in his collegiate career. With Connors off to a strong start in her final year of swimming for the Musketeers, and John off to a torrent pace to begin his career here in Xavier. Xavier Swimming is sure to make a splash this year. And that'll do it for another episode of Xavier Sports. Congratulations to all the Musketeer student athletes out there, and as always, let's go X.